Hey everybody, welcome to Cylinder Lab. Today we're going to be installing CentOS 7 and MySQL 5.7. We're going to start by doing a little bit of planning, then we're going to create our VM, install the operating system, and then install the database. I always encourage people to read the documentation before you begin your installation. There's no harm in checking this out. And give it a read. It'll be worth your time. If you're looking for the CentOS 7 documentation, you may come here, go to Documentation, go to Manuals, and you see that there is no CentOS 6 or 7. That's because you need to go to the upstream vendor, that being Red Hat. So I've got a tab open here. And here is the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 installation guide. And there is fantastic information here. You can scroll down and click, for example, disk space and memory requirements. And you'll learn, for example, that to install RHEL 7, you must have a minimum of 10 gigs of space. Now is a great time to answer some questions about the OS install. We're going to figure out what we're going to name it, our partitioning scheme, and some networking information. This is the naming information I'm going to use. I normally partition manually, but this time, just for experimentation and curiosity, I'm going to go automatic. And our networking information. We're ready to start. Let's go download our ISO. Go to CentOS.org and click Get CentOS Now. And now we're at the Download CentOS page. And you can choose to download DVD ISO, Everything ISO, or Minimal ISO. If you're wondering what on earth, which do I pick, never a bad idea to check the release notes, and it's actually explained here under Install Media. There's an explanation here, and it says if you are unsure which image to use, pick the DVD image. After downloading your ISO, it's always a great idea to check your checksum. So I'm going to copy this. I found a great little utility called Quick Hash for doing what we're wanting to do here. So I'm copying or pasting the hash here. This is what we're expecting. I'm going to select my file, and it begins. Now we wait. And there you go. There are the results. We have a match. We're good to go. You may have noticed there are no advertisements in this video. If you like what you see so far, please click subscribe, like, or add a comment. Why? To improve my rank. You see, YouTube uses all kinds of factors to determine where your video ends up in the search results, and every like, subscribe, and comment helps. Thank you. Okay, here's the plan. We're going to now create a virtual machine. Let's go do that now. Typical configuration. we're going to name it We're going to store it on Data Store 1, Linux, CentOS, 64-bit, 1 NIC, GB virtual disk, and there we go. Now we're going to do 3 things. We're going to load the ISO in the VM CD/DVD drive. We're going to configure the VM to boot to BIOS, and then in the BIOS we're going to change the boot order. Click Edit Virtual Machine Settings. In the Virtual Machine Properties window, click CD/DVD drive and then select your ISO here and click Connect at Power On. Then go to Options, Boot Options, and select Force BIOS Setup and click OK. Now power on your virtual machine. Jump over to the Boot tab and move the CD-ROM drive to the top of the list and hit F10 to save and exit. There we go. So now we're going to select Install CentOS 7. Okay, English. So I'd like to see what happens exactly when automatically configure partitioning. Let's configure our NIC. Switch this to on, click Configure, and we're going to go to this tab, change it to manual, because we don't want a dynamic IP, we want a fixed IP. Click General and check off Automatically Connect to this network when it is available. Click Save. And done. Click Begin Installation. CentOS is now successfully installed on your system and ready for you to use. Go ahead and reboot to start using it. After the OS install, make sure that your system can resolve the fully qualified domain name to the fixed IP address that you specified during the OS install. You can ask your network admin to enter it into their DNS, or you can simply add an entry into your local host file. After you've done that, do the pings on the screen. Make sure that they all reply. Do not go forward until all of this is working correctly. The recommended way to install MySQL on RPM-based Linux distributions is by using the RPM package provided by Oracle. There are two ways to get them for the Community Edition, either using the Yum repository or at the MySQL Downloads webpage. We're going to do this. This is a one-time operation. Go to this URL, scroll down to your operating system, and click Download. Okay, now we're going to check the MD5 sum. And they match. Great. Okay, the following command is going to add the MySQL Yum repository to our system's repository list. Done. You can check that the MySQL Yum repository was successfully added with the following command. Great. So now we're going to install MySQL with the following command. So this installs a package for MySQL Server and also packages for the components required to run the server, including packages for the client, the common error messages and character sets for the client and server, and the shared client libraries. A temporary random root password is generated and stored in the error log, which is /var/log/mysqld.log. Now that MySQL is installed, we should get familiar with where the files were installed. For example, MySQL is installed here, the server is installed here, configuration file, the data directory, the error log, etc. It's a good table to get familiar with. Also good to know The installation creates a user called MySQL and a group called MySQL on the system. After the installation, MySQL is not automatically started. It needs to be started manually. At the initial startup of the MySQL server, the following happens given that the data directory of the server is empty. The server is initialized, the SSL certificate and key files are generated in the data directory, the validate password plugin is installed and enabled, and a superuser account, root, is created. A password for the superuser is set and stored in the error log file. Now we're going to start MySQL. Check the status. Now we're going to check for that temporary password. There we go. Now we're going to perform a few checks just to make sure everything appears to be running correctly. We're going to start with running MySQL admin. Let's have a look at the output here. So server version 5.7.9, protocol version 10, connection, Unix socket, and uptime. Looks good, no errors, no cause for concern, and moving on. All right, and the last check we're going to do is run MySQL and try to run a query. All right, great. At this point, it looks like the server is running and it's responding as expected. As of MySQL 5.7.6, if you install MySQL using an RPM distribution on CentOS 7, server startup and shutdown is managed by systemd. Systemd provides automatic server startup and shutdown. It also enables manual server management using the system control command. I'll demonstrate this next. I just want to demonstrate how to stop MySQL, start MySQL, and also get the status. So this shows you that it's running. This is what it looks like when you stop it. And this is what it looks like when you start it. There you go. MySQL listens on port 3306. I'm going to show you that now. right here. And even though it's listening on the port, it doesn't necessarily mean that the port is open to the outside. So we're going to open that up. First, I'm going to show you that the firewall is running. Next, we're going to have a look at what's open in the firewall. This is our zone, our interface, and this is what's open. And MySQL is not in here. This is the command we're going to run to open up the port. Great. And we're going to restart the firewall. And then we're going to verify that our changes took effect. And you can see here, MySQL has been added. Alternatively, I want to point out that we could have run this command as well. Well, that's it, everyone. I hope you found this informative, and please check back often for more videos. This video is free of advertisements. If you enjoyed what you watched, please click subscribe, the like button, or leave a comment. Why? To improve my rank. You see, YouTube uses all kinds of factors to determine where my video ends up in the search results. Thank you.